based at the Kenya Medical Research Institute, the center in Kisumu, where I lead the maternal and newborn health studies within the malaria division. And I'm excited to share with you my leadership journey. My project was on Brown Bag Thursdays, which is a forum to nurture women scientists of the center and to enable entry, growth, and sustainability in science. As a quick background, women make up a minority of researchers globally at 33%, and in Kenya that's 25%. And in 2021, the UN chief underscored that the underrepresentation of women would mean that our needs and our perspectives are often overlooked in the design of new products and drugs, which then directly impacts our daily lives. In 2023, the UNESCO report showed that it would take up to 95 years to close the gender gap in science in sub-Saharan Africa. And we need to close this gap soon. If we can do it in our lifetime, we need to address the barriers that would affect the growth and progress of women, female scientists, especially African female scientists. So to close this gender gap, we need to borrow lessons from various sources. And I'd like to also borrow lessons from my 11 years in research. And a roadmap would need to involve 3 components: bringing women in science by examining the policies, the HR policies and pro-women hiring practices. We need to enable women to grow in science by building their hard and soft skills and including role modeling while building hard and soft skills, and supporting women to stay in science through grantsmanship, leadership skills, mentorship, as well as sponsorship. My leadership project, therefore, looked at these 3 components. The first component assessed the environment in which women were hired. I examined the pro-women hiring practices as well as assessing women actually were growing. And to do this, I looked at the various data sources, including HR records, I reviewed publications, I looked at the CASH conference attendances, and examined 3 domains. First was inclusion. I wanted to see if we're adhering to the Government of Kenya guideline of the 2/3 gender rule. The second part I wanted to look at was growth. I wanted to see if female scientists were well represented in publications as well as in presentations at conferences. And I wanted to look at the third thing, which was leadership, that women led their own research group, and this was evidenced by brand ownership. What the data showed me is that KEMRI is inclusive, that up to 44% of scientists at the center in Kisumu were women, although there was some variation between divisions. That even though we had achieved the minimum requirement for the government of Kenya of 2/3, only 20% of women actually are on the leadership path, even though 58% of them were considered senior women scientists. And only 7% of the 284 publications over the last 5 years had female first authors. And this tells us 2 things. One, we do have pro-women hiring practices, and the policies are favorable to women and hiring women, but there is a disproportionate growth in women scientists compared to men. So the second part of my intervention looked at 2 components: building hard and soft skills to allow women to grow in science, and building soft skills to allow women to stay in science. In hard skills, this included training. So we started epidemiology and statistics classes from December 2022, and we continue that until December 2023. We include Thursday practical classes to fill in knowledge gaps. We have seminars for presentation skills, and Brown Bag Thursdays, which is a lunch hour meeting mentorship session that's divided into 2 components. It is one-on-one mentorship within a research group. I lead 9 scientists within a large technical team. 4 of them are women, 44%, and there's a center-wide group mentorship. Embedded within each component was female leader presence, and the purpose of this was to provide role modeling. So the outcomes for training and lectures building hard skills, up to 42% of attendees were women, out of attendances of about 70 women on average appearing every month, out of our projected target of 50%. Female leadership presence was strong. 67% of classes were taught by women scientists, and 100% of Thursday sessions were led by early career women researchers. The seminar sessions are yet to start. They're going to start from 4th, and this is going to be led by one of the division chiefs who has agreed to support me. And the one-on-one mentorship has started for my group. For the 4 women, 2 of them presented their publications. Some of them are in draft, some of them have already been submitted, and 2 of them presented at conferences, so achieving 50% of my initial target. The center-wide group mentorship is scheduled to start on 11th. In conclusion, I would say this journey has changed my life. I've learned how to lead authentically. I've become clear about my identity and how to lead with purpose. I've been clear about why I choose the area of research that I choose. I've learned how to tell my story, and I have done so in multiple forums now. I've become more inclusive and intentional about mentoring women in science, and I amplify their presence and support their growth. I've been strategic. I work across different divisions. This is not something I particularly cared for in the past, but I now embrace this ecosystem mindset, knowing who's around me and how to maximize relationships around me for greater impact. And my leadership project has been impactful, especially because it has broad appeal within the center and as it aligns with the center goals, and it directly impacts the growth of the center and my team as well as my own growth. And I'm excited and motivated to continue this project in the long term. I want to thank WomenLift for the gift of this training, as well as my sisters, coaches, and mentors who have poured into my life. Thank you very much.